Streamer Destiny goes on anti-Trump rant and mocks victims and their families. Creature behavior.
I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't do that. You see, so why the hell, frankly, Destiny,
absolutely not.
Why the hell should we listen to a word you have to say?
Cleansing.
When we genocide conservatives in this country.
You know, the red flags were there. Someone who's built like that. Just the build alone, right? That is a nefarious build. That is a suspicious build. And physiognomy is in fact real.
Hey, bro.
Hey, what's up? Have you heard the good news?
Are you pregnant?
That's not possible.
Blossom finally got a good wig?
That's even less possible. Even better. I'm going on tour. I am so excited to be doing a live version of my podcast at the Blair White Project all over America and Toronto, Canada. Each show will have a signing, a meet and greet, a special hangout for VIP fans, and a portion where you can grab the mic and talk to me, ask me questions, drag me. Don't do that. I would say my podcast is pretty uncensored, but imagine how uncensored we can get together in person. I'm a little scared. We're stopping in Austin, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., Brooklyn, Atlanta, Toronto, Canada, Minneapolis, Chicago, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, and Nashville. Get your tickets now at x1entertainment.com/Blair White, link in the description. You guys know I have not done any in-person events in years, literally, so I don't know when the next time this is gonna happen. This is something very special for the Blair White Army, so if you're a member of the Blair White Army, I'm gonna need you to make sure you don't miss the Blair White Takes America tour. See you soon. Speaking of people I hate, I'm a hater today. I'm in my hater bag with this episode. This is a new one though, because I actually wasn't hating until quite recently. Streamer Destiny goes on anti-Trump rant and mocks victims and their families. Creature behavior.
But anyway, just to be clear, fuck you, guy that got shot at the rally. This is why I don't give a fuck about showing sympathy. This is why I don't give a fuck. This is why I don't give a fuck about the sympathy for any of you fucking losers, because you won't own up to anything.
Don't take it out on me because your wife left you faster.
Wow. As I tweeted, thank you, God, for never allowing politics nor life in general to harden my heart like this. And I really feel that way because as much as I'm a bitch, I am. I know I would never fix my mouth to say this. I mean, to spit on the grave of a dead man who was protecting his child from a bullet when he passed away. I mean, that's just like the most vile behavior, and it's actually bordering on terrorism.
I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't do that. You see, so why the hell, frankly, Destiny,
absolutely not.
Why the hell should we listen to a word you have to say about...
Hold on. Why do you think conservatives haven't been listening to a word that liberals have said about anything for 8 years?
Right,
what do you think is going to change?
they?
You think that if liberals come out now and they go, oh my God, this was so horrible, you think they're going to go, wow, that is true. Maybe that should also...
Here's the thing. It's like beneath me to even say like, this is wrong. Like that's 1 + 1 = 2. But the thing is, I feel like as like a political influencer, I've always understood that even though I can, you know, say some pretty ignorant sometimes and I can go off the handle and sometimes I do too much. Yeah, I'll do too much, but never so much that I'm encouraging violence politically. And that to me is just some jihadi ass shit. It's giving gay jihadi.
I'm ready for the great cleansing, dude.
Cleansing?
The cleansing.
What cleansing?
When we genocide conservatives in this country.
Are you gonna be out in the streets with your Glock?
Maybe. I gotta go back to Nebraska and grab it.
And it's just so corny. It's like, oh, you gotta drive out of state to go get your Glock, baby boy, baby girl, baby they. The other side has Glocks on deck. The other side has Glocks on deck in their house presently. I got about 26, 27 on me right now. And it's not that I would ever use it, right? Because I'm not a piece of shit who uses my platform to, you know, fan the flames of violence. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it's not a battle you're actually going to be winning, right? The side that doesn't know how to shoot, the side that has to go drive out of state to go pick up their gun. It's not really going to be the W you think it is. It's just some low down shit. And it's crazy because I did have Destiny on my channel probably like a year or so ago. And we actually came to some common ground. Like we had a pretty rational conversation. We didn't disagree on much. It was just about trans stuff. And so I felt like on the list of liberals, like commentators who would engage in this type of like just idiocy, it's like, I gotta be real, a lot of people call him, retarded and stupid and crazy, and clearly he is, but I really didn't think he was like that. I mean, the fact that he was actually able to have rational conversations prior to this with conservatives to go off the deep end, for me, it just reads as someone who's going through some sort of crisis in their real life. I mean, this reads as someone who is going through some things. But it's never an excuse, right? Because as someone who's gone through some things, probably objectively more things than this motherfucker, I don't know. I've never been caught talking about cleansing my political enemies. So that's a level of demented that I'm going to need you to get checked up on, Destiny. Should have clocked it by the name Destiny. What kind of motherfucker? I was wrong thinking that he was a rational human being. You cannot trust the blue hair. You just can't. You just can't. Even the ones that seem like they might be okay, right? It's just like, if the person has blue hair, it's just a law here. You have blue hair, you're just a crazy person. And that's coming from a tranny. So that's really bad. And just like Chris Tyson, the red flags were there. Someone who's built like that, just the build alone, right? That is a nefarious build. That is a suspicious build. And physiognomy is in fact real. That's just what it is. And it's just a projection for me. I mean, Destiny projects that the conservatives are the hateful ones, right? This is the thing. It's like, to pretend as if at this point in time, conservatives have some sort of like monopoly on like hatred or bigotry or political violence, when it's actually in fact very, very often the opposite. It definitely wasn't conservatives burning the country down all summer 2020. And we've seen in real time in the past 2 weeks since the Trump, assassination attempt, right after Biden got, COVID, and despite, my entire timeline being overrun with people with demented lived out bitches praising the fact that someone shot Donald Trump and mourning that the bullet did not in fact do its big one with him, that was, I'm sure, everyone's feed for about 2 weeks, was just the most demented, at least Destiny is consistent with his side. I mean, he's not exactly an outlier. He's just one of the few public figures that's willing to actually represent the state of the left right now. So in that sense, I actually give it to him. He's actually being a pretty accurate representation of the heartbeat of the demented ass, demonic ass left right now. And that is what it is. But for me, I didn't see anyone when Biden got COVID on the conservative side on my almost exclusively right-wing, follower feed, hoping that it took him out. Like, I didn't see it one time. And in your heart of hearts, watching this, no matter what side you're on, if something happened to Biden, would there be ignorant people on the right speaking up and doing somewhat of what the left did when it came to Trump? Of course, there's always going to be assholes, but it would not be this unanimous thing. And yet it was on the other side. So to pretend as if one side has a monopoly on hate, I mean, you're just stuck on stupid if you believe that. MSNBC's Joy Reid says Black people will look real weird not voting for Kamala Harris. Which is interesting because, her natural state of being, regardless of what vote she's casting, is looking real weird. I mean, she's definitely giving egghead. And it's definitely giving fried eggs for brains. Because what I think is real weird is telling people how to vote based on their skin color.
You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side. The door needs to close behind Amber. And she looked crazy over there. But shut the door behind her. You really are going to look crazy being on that side.
While feigning like you're not the racist. I mean, it's actually quite pathetic. And it's very strange how you have an entire, main political party in this country that literally just believes they have an ownership over minorities. So much so that they can control and tell you who to vote for based on what color your skin is. I mean, that is, again, progressive or regressive. You can tell me. Vote. Tell me, is that a progressive or a regressive trait? They do it to every group too, every minority. They do it to gay people. This tweet, if you're a gay Republican, you are an absolute fucking weirdo and loser. It's just like, for me at least, right? Because some of us have actually broken through that conditioning. For me, it's way more offensive to believe that you own me than it is for anyone on the right who maybe dislikes me for what I am. Like, that is so much more offensive. And for me, it is reason enough to vote against them just right there. Just on principle. Like, bitch, you think you own me? You think I owe you a vote because what? Because you've taken ownership of, like, we can even just make it trans. Like, y'all just go through and pick these little vulnerable groups of people, claim to be their savior, utilize the fuck out of them, raise money off of them, try to get votes off of them, and then have the nerve to make racist statements like you're going to look real weird if you're black. But then again, you know, this is just par for the course. You have Joe Biden who said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It's also just representative of the fact that most, maybe not most, but just like such a sizable portion of the population has such a low IQ, such a lack of understanding of politics, such an inability to ever discuss politics, that the powers that be know that. So they're not going to lay out policy for you. They're going to tell you, you're black, vote this way. And y'all are so stuck on stupid that doesn't filter as like offensive or like racist to you. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm the crazy one. I'm like, did this bitch just tell me who to vote for because I'm trans? Does this bitch think they have ownership of my mind, body, and soul and decisions and voting choices so much so that they can just invoke the fact that I'm trans? And they love to go with, but what about how he's going to take away all your rights if you're trans, if you're voting for Trump? Project 2025, Google Project 2025. Project 2025 is Y2K for retards. It is Coney 2012 for shitlibs. It really is. It doesn't matter how many times Trump says, what is that? That's not even like my thing. It doesn't matter how many times he says, actually, that's like not written by me. Those are not things that I'm proposing, and I actually think it's extreme and I disavow it. Doesn't matter how many times. They lie to you so easily, so frequently, and with such an intensity. And it's clear that propaganda is just so successful in this country. All right, you guys, that is it for this episode of the Blaire White Project podcast. And just another plug for the tour that I'm doing of this live podcast in cities all across America. Tickets are available now, and Toronto, Canada, not just America. Tickets are available now. Link in the description. It is x1entertainment.com/Blaire White. You should also follow me on X, and you should follow me on Instagram. Because if you don't, I'm going to assume we have an issue here between us. And I really don't want to assume that. I don't want to believe that. Follow me. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, this channel, and my main channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.